What if I told you at 63, I decided to start a brand new career instead of retiring? I know it sounds a bit wild, right? But honestly, it's been an incredible journey and I just can't wait to share it with you. Whether you're thinking about career change yourself or you're just curious about my story, well, I hope that you'll stick around. Who knows? You might just be inspired to take that leap too. I've never been the retiring type, Sure, I had people tell me, where I worked before, well, just hang in there just a few more years and you can retire from here. And I'm like, yeah, and then what? There's just something about learning new things and taking on new challenges that I really enjoy. I don't know if it's about pushing my own personal boundaries or finding out what my potential is or a feeling of accomplishment of trying something new, but it's exciting. So retirement, to be honest, it was never really on my radar. So this was like a year or so before COVID, and I'd been working for over a decade at a big company. I was really burned out. I was super frustrated, and I was incredibly bored. So I was talking to my daughter one day about all that, and she said, "Dad, you need to get out of that place with your skills and background where you can just get a job and work from home." Well, to be honest, I never really thought about that. So in a day or two, she emailed me and said that she'd signed me up for an online job board. So I logged in and I started poking around looking at the jobs that were available. By the way, I made a whole video about the top remote jobs for you and where you can find them. I'll pop a link in the description if you're curious about that. Anyway, I stumbled across an ad for a fully remote content creation gig with a really great software company. And I thought, now that sounds like something that I'd like and I'm kind of cut out for. So I went ahead and I applied and I went through a couple of interviews, and to make a long story short, I landed the job. I got a video on that one as well. Yep, links in the description. Sure, I was both nervous and excited. I knew it's going to be a steep learning curve. Switching careers at 63 isn't exactly what you call a walk in the park. But I figured, hey, why not give it a shot? Now, don't get me wrong. I get why some people really like the idea of retirement, kicking back, relaxing, maybe playing a little golf, but that's honestly just not who I am. I've always had a side gig or two going on. I've always been taking on some kind of online class or working with individuals or nonprofits or small businesses, or I've been building websites, or I've been doing some content writing, and I've always tried to learn some new piece of software. And I knew that I'd never have an opportunity to use any of that in my old job, and that if I didn't do something about it myself and make it happen, well, it's never going to be. So I used to have this saying about my old workplace. I used to say, this is where dreams come to die. And I know that sounds pretty harsh. I know some people really love the corporate grind, but that's just not me. And I saw so many extremely talented people who were just stuck. They were trapped in jobs that they hated. They were watching their dreams gradually evaporate until they were like zombies just going through the motions. If you've ever felt like that, let me know in the comments. Now, I thought, what a waste. Now, that's just not going to be me. Now, another reason I chose a new career over retirement is financial. Now, let's be real, with the economy these days, living on what little savings you have and Social Security, it's really tough. So I wanted to make sure that my wife and I could keep up our quality of life for as long as possible. So while I was still at my old job, well, I started taking online courses in content writing and business. And then I went on and enrolled in a major university, and I went on to earn a degree in interdisciplinary studies so I'd be more well-rounded. And I got a diploma in counseling to prepare for my career transition. Now, when I told my family and my friends about my plan, well, they were surprisingly supportive. In fact, a lot of my coworkers have been telling me for years that I needed to move on, that I had skills that could really take me to better places. And looking back, I probably should have listened to them. All right, so how did making that big change work out? Well, transitioning to that new job, oh boy, that was an adventure. Going from on-site to fully remote was a big change. In my old job, I spent hours and lots of time wasting meetings or working on mind-numbing projects that I knew so well I could probably just do them in my sleep. Big change on my new job. I work with a global team. I didn't miss those meaningless should have been an email meetings. Now all my meetings are productive ones with my team or one-on-ones, video calls with specific project members. Now, I remember my first video call. I was so nervous about things not working right. I double-checked everything right before the meeting and I was ready to go. And sure enough, I couldn't get my mic to unmute and I had issues with my internet cutting in and out. It was very embarrassing. And don't even get me started about learning how to navigate all the new software for my new job. I'm Slack and Asana. It was like learning a whole new language for me. I was used to Kanban boards and all that, and this same principle, but it was still quite a bit different. But you know what? It didn't even take a week before I got the hang of it. Okay, what about my previous experience? How did that play into that? Well, it really came in handy in ways that I never really expected. All those years working with spreadsheets and crunching data and those lean manufacturing techniques. Well, it turns out a lot of that stuff came in pretty handy for my new job as well. Who knew? Now, one of the most surprising and rewarding things about this change has actually been the work culture. Now, let me tell you, working with a team scattered across the entire globe is amazing. Most of them are young enough to be my kids or maybe even my grandkids. But we all get along great, no ageism, just a bunch of people working together and having fun doing it. I love it. Now, the best part, I feel more relaxed. I have a better work-life balance, and it actually has improved my finances. Plus, I'm continuing to invest more and more in learning. Looking back, the only thing that I'd change is that I wish I'd done it sooner. If I'd have known how much that this was going to improve my life, physically, emotionally, financially, I wouldn't have stayed at that old job so long. So if you're sitting there and you're wondering if it's too late to make a change, well, let me tell you, it's not. Take a good look at where you are and are you happy? Are there opportunities for you to grow and do the things that you're really good at? And most importantly, are you doing what you really want to do? What changes can you make to improve your life? I'd like to hear your story. Now, if you want more tips on career changes after 60, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to get notified when I post a new video. Then, here's a couple of videos I think you might enjoy. I'll see you next time.